Hello, my friends. Let's take a look at Tezos and Chainlink in today's episode. As you can see, there's my screen. That's the screen that I'm recording, whatever. So when I shrink myself down here, you'll see it. How exciting is that? It's so meta. Let's take a look at the charts together. You could almost call this episode the really important inflection zones for us. We're at them right now, or something like that. Anyway, as you know, I'm Rocky Outcrop. I'm not a master of clickbait. That's something like we could call the episode, something along those lines, because that's where we find the prices right now. I'll roll the intros. See you in a second. So, hello friends, let's take a look at Tezos and Chainlink. And what was I trying to say there at the start? This is of course the Chainlink Bitcoin chart I've just opened up here, is that we're at those really key, important inflection point zones for us, really quite key. Let's see if the prices can actually turn around from these areas and go towards the top side. Fingers crossed on that one. Or if indeed they'll break down, okay? That's what we're looking at, key areas. And it's quite crucial, really, that we see this happen. If we're looking at the link chart here, what we have is higher lows, lower highs. This is a perfect pizza slice for us. Absolutely wonderful triangle over here. The symmetrical triangle, if you like, or indeed pizza slice, whatever you want to call this thing. We've come right down towards this low area in there at 85K, in the 84,840. And now we're looking towards the top side again. Or will we break down? We've had a measured move off this thing kind of hanging around for us. If we want to look towards it, we could look down towards targets such as 65K if we break down the way. I'm actually hoping to see this go towards the top side. Not a lot of things in here in terms of the counter trend indicators or whatever to give us hope for that. Of course, obviously, given the fact that we can see that we're in a sideways period of consolidation. So if there is any activity here with regards to the oscillators down below, they're going to just be giving us the potential for confusing signals. So yeah, that's what we're waiting to see happen. Can we see the prices move back up? What we want to see, and don't be alarmed by this downward sloping pitchfork in the background, that just shows us how much easier. You know, I've had people complain, sort of not complain, but state recently about how this looks so like down, the prices are going down, right? And of course it does look a bit like that. But of course the traders amongst you will realize that if this was a target here, which was going to be a big price for us at the median line of the channel back then moving up towards it would have done a couple of things at once, etc., etc. But those were quite high prices up there, 120K. Moving up towards the middle zone of the parallel channel, sorry, the pitchfork here, now comes in at 111K, where our previous target was before. It just means that all of the points get lower and lower, and it therefore, in a sense, easier and easier to break above if we want to be generous about things, which means that this measured move off the back of this thing takes us up past the median line of the channel and towards the 618 zone still, as it had done before, except beforehand it was taking us up, and you know we were only getting to the median line of the pitchfork. So there's positive aspects to this in terms of its slant, in terms of how much easier it gets as time goes by. Therefore, as well, moving back into the pitchfork itself only requires us to go above 88, whereas you know last week we were talking about needing to be above the 236. The key area for us right now, let's not forget it, is right in here at this 236 here. Let's mark that out quite clearly for us. This is what we need to see the prices going above in order to start being a little bit more positive. We have a negative slant on all of the moving averages just there that are above our heads. They have been during this period of consolidation. Movements up above them now, though, since they've come quite close at the apex of this triangle area, is starting to make it look like we'd be able to take these out at the same time as taking out these other targets if we do it within the next sort of by the presidential election sort of thing. Then we can see the movements happen. Okay, that's the Bitcoin pairing going to be done for now. The dollar pairing, because we are moving up towards the top side, we can look for divergences. What do we see here? High, higher, higher in terms of the lows, higher, higher, higher in terms of the highs, higher, 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 higher. Everything's going along fine. We're at this key area again, though, where this yellow line is. We've spoken about this so often. We're at this key area, 1158. Can we see a turnaround from here? The moving averages are actually just giving us as support currently at the minute, these magic nuclear numbers that I'm using right now. And we still have targets then towards the top side. People coming into the Discord recently asking, like Keemster, shout out to you, Keemster, talking about Link and good places to buy at. Well, I've been super clear in my episodes, by the way, in terms of targets and everything else. And if anything, I want to be less clear about it, just to be perfectly honest with you. But right now, in terms of managing your risk, you can do it fairly easily. Let's just actually draw in a fib channel as well, since I talked about them. Excuse me, the alarm noise. Since I talked about them in the Bitcoin video earlier on today. As you can see, the prices have come right down here to the 618 out now, having found support at that 18 period exponential moving average, which is the green line on my charts right now. So what we can see here is that this is yet again another area where we could see the prices turn around from and continue to go up the way, forming those higher highs and higher lows. But what does it actually start to look like if this low doesn't come any lower down? This is the key area. This is the key thing again. You know, this is our previous low. Down towards the 236 in there at 1033 would of course be a higher low as well. Movements around from this area and then towards the top mean that the distance between these chunks gets shallower along the way, right? So if the distance here is like this, and the distance here is like this, and the distance here is like this, then you can see that the distances are getting narrower together, which mean when you look towards the MACD, you can see that, of course, we have got a wedge divergence here showing us on the MACD, which means you've got wedge. So between this high and this high, there is bearish divergence, which means that there's a potential for a wedge, which means that we need to see the prices go up towards the top side and take out our target at the $13.69 50% area for us to start to get more bullish, to look towards that target we've had in mind for a while of $15.60. Or else we're going to have to monitor how this situation evolves, and if this thing then needs to be moved down a bit, this one here needs to be moved up a bit, and we have a wedge instead of a parallel channel. Okay, but at the minute, if we were to turn around from those areas, we'd be doing what I already spoke about. Nice one, cleared that one up. That's pretty nifty. As you can see, the wedge is drawn on here already for us. Here's one I made earlier. Lines up perfectly with the MACD. You know, I don't need the MACD on myself personally. I tend to see the MACD on the charts as I'm looking anyway myself after I've used it a lot. But of course, here it is back on the charts just for the fun and for the farts. What we're seeing in terms of this thing again, you know, moving up the way, all that good stuff. Let's stay above our swing point over here, and let's see if we can take advantage of as much of this chop as possible to get positioned well for movements if the strength of trend does resume towards the top side. Looking down at the 4-hour time frame, you can see that the negative strength of trend is currently in place, having had a crossover there on the 27th of October. So while we've pulled down as far as this so far, I don't want to see us have to go down any further. On the terms of the 4-hour time frame, you can see that the movement that we've had so far, which has come down 12.5% since their highs over there on the 25th of October, and taken us down to the past the 236 Fibonacci retracement point actually, but right at it in terms of where we see the prices right now, could open up opportunities to move down further. Of course they could. There's no divergence here on the RSI, but there is on the MACD, and there is on the Stochastics, and there is int on the DMI. So we've got the MACD and the Stochastics showing us the divergence here, giving us, the chance for this to turn around within the structure that we've already identified. Then let's look at Link Ethereum. Link Ethereum doing exactly again what we said it would be doing, just kind of messing around inside this zone. What we see here is that the lows haven't got any lower as we've been going down slightly on the MACD. As we can see here, same story on the Stochastics. As we can see here, different story on the RSI in the sense that that's not divergent. As we can see here, different story on the DMI as that's not divergent. Well, I've already spoken about this in yesterday's episode as well. Same scenario though, what we're looking to see happen with regards to hopefully getting another cross here while this remains in chop towards the top side, or indeed to just boil this off here. If we need to go all the way down, then our target towards the downside remains at 28, 0.02858585, something like that. Then the top side target is of course the 30 area. We know 30 is crucial. Movements past that could take us 10% in either direction, by the way, as in we could go down from the 25s down to the 21 area, from the 30s to the 33 area. That would be our intermediate targets for us to be having. Looking at this thing, we're still inside we're still inside this ascending triangle here. So that's cool. So we're just continuing on as ever as we have been doing. Nice one. The highs that came in, by the way, were not divergent, and we are still in volatility territory on the 2-day time frame. You know, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. When's it going to happen? Don't say I didn't warn you. Right, Tezos then. So thanks so much for staying tuned. We're into the Tezos Terratros. Let's look here. The downward sloping moving averages still fanned out all in that method that they have been for the last wee while. Looking to see if we can come up and try these targets again. 1760 in terms of the Bitcoin pairing right now, where they find the 10 on the 2-day, and in fact where the 18 is on the 1 day. Looking here at the 10, we're again, this is going to be our first port of call. Can we get it turned around? What we've had here is divergence after divergence, on the way down. The last low here came in compared to its previous low as not being bullishly divergent on the RSI. But if we look over to the last actual low on the RSI and make the comparison sort of properly, then you can see that we very much are bullishly divergent. That's very distinct. And at some point, I think we'll get a payoff from that. But when that happens is kind of anyone's guess currently, because it really depends on a lot of things. So far, we've seen this little bit of positive price action, as we've seen a fairly significant chunk of the Bitcoin price get scraped off the top. But what we notice is that the Tezos to dollar one went down past their key areas, and therefore has seen this continue to diminish. Okay, next targets in mind, if we do take out this area at 1700, which is going to be really important for us, or 17,000 actually, is going to be up here at the red light again at 1900, and that's going to be our first real port of call for good stuff. As we can see as well, we've got divergence across the board here on the oscillators. There's the potential then for you to take into account things like whether or not this structure here is going to be kind of wedgie-tastic in the end for us, and it certainly looks like it could be so far, in which case we could look up for measured moves, etc. If we just take this as a measured move here and pop it over here, then you can see that of course our first real effort comes in at the 1900, the next one at 20,000, 19,000 and 20,000. But that's kind of at the mercy of the other pairing. So let's just jump over to them and see again, crucial points. By the way, the crucial point scenario remains movements down below this 1618 here at 1532. Very negative for us. We've had some, dipping our toes in those waters down there today, lows of 1477. So let's see if we can actually, avoid that happening on a closing basis, as we have just now by skin of the teeth method. So there we are, key area. Like I said at the start of the show, key area for us again with regards to this potential for us that we were looking at. Can we follow this line in general? This is not a pattern. This line here exists because I had the Ichimoku cloud on recently, and I was just drawing through where the narrowest area to go through the cloud would be at. If prices can follow in or around about this zone here, is a nice mess it all up so that it's easier to not be confused by and become binary in your thinking. If we go up this way in general, then we're going through the thinnest part of the Ichimoku cloud, sort of thing, and that would be good to see happen for the prices. So while we've come down a bit, we're hanging on by the skin of our teeth, bringing up the price action, making it bigger. You can see that we've got a couple of key areas for us to be aware of, namely, first off, our previous low over there. Right now, we're in here making equal lows, and it looks like we're going to have bullish divergence. If this low finishes where it is, of course, this is the counterintuitive point here again, that if you want to see this move towards the top side right now before we finish off the 24-hour time frame, then you're going to be just, not having that divergence. That's just going to be convergence, but that's cool. Let's be fine with that, because we have an alternative for us. If we put in our high, another high, or a higher low here, then what we're looking at is hidden bullish divergence on the stochastics. So that could be good for us if we need it to be. But right now we're in this consolidation period. It's easiest just to look to horizontals and say we simply don't want to see the prices going down below $2. It has been down at 198. Like we spoke about recently, this sort of the in terms of where you can find value in that 190 zone. Of course, that remains the case. Looking towards the top side, you're going to get less value anything above 230. Just for your knowledge in terms of like where you're trading right now. But of course, breaking past that would be different. And at some point, then we can probably just convert this over to actually being a pattern some sort for us. Maybe I'll just do that now, so I don't have to remind everybody about the Ishimoku cloud again in the future. Let's see, can we get outside of this zone right now? In fact, let me just do another trend-based or a fib-based fib channel for us here, just in this area, just so that we can say, look, this is where we've come down as low as, this is where we started off as high as, moving down the way here. This is we've come in here for our full retrace now. If we move up the way, when do things get good? Maybe that's the wrong way to be doing that in terms of this perspective on this one. That might be the wrong way to be doing this in terms of this perspective on this one, like I was thinking there, but not really. If we do move for another downside target, then the next one has to come in there at $1.72. That's where our next target would be towards the downside. Should we push outside of this area? Movements towards the top side and coming in here with an equal or higher low will come in there at 240 at 241. Movements past that, then I think that really you start to get excited about things when we move outside of the 262 area and take out this 260 area here, and of course the 252 Fibonacci retracement point, which is this line. Here, this line here coming in, and if we just zoom on in so you can see this a bit clearer, I've got this pitchfork on the go, shows us, again, in and around about crucial areas. If we want to see them staying above this 195 area, crucial for us. Movements above 216, crucial for us in terms of the low term time frame things, and that's will be the numbers that you're looking for. If you're looking for a sort of 20-cent range, I'm going to have to call it 196 to 116 or 216. Let's then just quickly check in with our Ethereum Bob pal. See that we have turned around here just slightly at the end of our symmetrical triangle. Everything's just going along. This is becoming very extended into this pattern, but of course, that's life. We might not get we might get an even more heinous move off the back of it because of this. If we get a movement towards the top side, measuring stick style off the back of this here, it takes us past that swing failure point quite clearly. By the way, this fits on different time frames. It fits on differently, so I'm just going to leave it as it is, even though you might be thinking, why are you doing it like that? Takes us up to our previous highs, so that overbought territory. We could be going up, any number of dollar points here, or theory bob points to the top side with the result of this. If things go out well for us, I'd look for targets first off being 0.072, 0.084, 0.0072, 0.084, 0.0895, and then the golden pockets is my precious zone coming in there at 0.01, and that would be the keys to be looking for in terms of a retracement here for us if we get anything positive. This so far at the minute is just a crap wedge channel thing. Need to see us taking out the targets that we have, but this is all small fry stuff until such times if we've really taken out 60. 0.060 is what we need to really take out. Towards the downside, we're looking still at 45, 10%, more than 15% movement towards the downside possible, 15% movement towards the upside possible without really breaking the structure that we're looking at just here. Need to see things really kind of take a positive turn in a trending way with the dollar pricing, and then of course with the either stability returning back to the Bitcoin markets so that we can see these things kind of correlate across the charts or not. This is what we're looking at then anyway with regards to Bitcoin. If we see things moving down the way here in this meantime, if we see them taking out Bitcoin prices taking out 13,000 and going towards the downside, then you know where to look to. Current price is 13,525. So just after filming the Bitcoin ones, they've moved up a wee bit since talking. That means they've gone past key areas. Anyway, what can you do? You've got to film your episodes and try and fit them in with the life that people are leading. Oh no, that's just fine. That was the CME charts I was looking at. As you can see, we've already had this retracement down to as far as here, which is quite clear, by the way, with Bitcoin. If we were to go for and we've had the golden pocket almost be touched. This is very much a short-term time frame thing for us. Movements back above 13,589, which is why I was a little bit kind of like, looking at the CME charts, then could, continue that story for us. But actually, I feel like there's got to be some positivity soon for the Tezos and Link pairings. bleeding across. Right, cool. That's going to do 19-minute long video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next one. I've been Rocky Outcrop. Tell your friends. YouTube.com/Rocky Outcrop. It's the best place to subscribe. All that good stuff. Catch you next time. I'll see you in the Discord if you want to chat, by the way. All that good stuff. See ya.